So overall test scores are going well. In terms of finances, so this is kind of the pattern of how much we get per student in actual funding. Now what happens in Michigan school finance is everybody pays property taxes. You pay your 6% sales tax. And the money all goes into one big pot. And then it gets sent out by the state to the districts. So in Dexter we pay plenty of taxes and we get our cut. So what they do, and it's not always what you paid locally, and kind of gets distributed out. So what you look at is we had, back in the late 90s, we started to see some nice increases of funding. So when you look over here, you'll see a nice steady slope. And then we got to about 2002 and it flatlined for a few years. Then we were in 2005, 2006, we're going back up. And then, then it went bad. And we are back, towards the end of the graph you can see, per pupil, we're back about what we were funded per pupil in 05-06. So that's just what it is. In terms of retirement, this is the hard thing. So when you read the papers, you see we're getting more money, we're getting more money, we're getting more money. Well, yes and no. So in terms of retirement, and I'm telling you, if they want to give us more money, we'll take it. And what they're giving, we're very thankful. So in terms of retirement, this is the state retirement program that is actually controlled by the state, legislated that the state does everything with. Basically what they do is we get our per pupil amount, they send it to us, then they give us a bill to send back based on our salaries. So we had, back in 2000-ish, we were paying about 12% of every salary back for retirement. Then, 2009, it got up to 16.94. This year, the effective rate is about 30% of every dollar that we send, or 30 cents on every dollar we send back. So what's happened is, you see, the state is now to try to control that because they've managed it, and they've made decisions that have helped it and hurt the funds. And they control it. We have zero control over what they do with this pension plan. And if you look at our finances on the next couple slides, I think we would manage it. I think Dr. Raschke can manage it much better than they are managing it now. So if you look at it, we are sending 30% back. What we hear in terms of increase in funding is we're going to get 3% more. It really is about a 0.7% effective amount. The rest of it covers the pension increase. So I think of it like when I worked with a guy, I'll never forget, one of the funniest people I've ever met, Doug. Doug used to say to his wife, when she said she went out to buy something at the store, and she said she got this great price, it was on sale for 15% off. And he would always say, so where do you plan to invest the other 15? Can I have it? It's more cost avoidance than it is actual real dollars that we're getting for the change, but it keeps it from going over the 30% mark. So in essence, we this year are sending $1,790 per child back to the state for the pension fund that we don't control nor manage. Back at the last time we were funded at this level in 05-06, we sent $880. So that's just our reality. And that's the reality of every school district in the state. So in essence, we send $6.3 million this year back to the state of Michigan for pensions that don't go to classrooms. What has happened and what I've learned, and this, I knew it coming into the interview process and the application process, but now I really understand it. And I want to share that the Board of Education and the employees of Dexter Community Schools have been incredible stewards of taxpayer dollars. And in the next couple slides, I'll really be able to explain it. So this is our fund balance, total fund balance. Compared to many districts in the state, we are doing much, much better. We have been tremendous stewards of taxpayer dollars. You'll notice it goes down a little bit, but it's always purposeful. So when you look, this is the undesignated fund balance. This is what has happened differently in Dexter that really sets us up for long-term sustainability is the board and the employee groups understand that you can't live paycheck to paycheck. You have to have a long-term plan. So what they've done is they've set up designated fund balances and undesignated. Designated fund balances are set aside to pay for the things that we need to pay for to really still educate students and serve our community. We know that facilities will need money to maintain. You need to replace light bulbs. You need to fix things. You have to have money to do that. So there's a designated fund to cover facilities. We know technology is going to be we're going to have to continue to replace technology. There's a designated fund in that in that large fund balance chunk. It's not large in terms of dollars, but the chunk, the bucket. So there's money set aside to replace technology. There's money set aside to cover our long-term liabilities. This is a good example of really being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. The board and the community and the employees have planned for the future. All of the employees in the district have taken either a 1% or a 1.5% pay reduction this year. Knowing that we have less money to work with, we're sending more to the state, but we have a core function to educate students, and we have to find a way to do that. So if you look at where we spend our dollars at Dexter, we spend 50% of our dollars on basic instructional programming in the classroom, another 9% for special education programming and vocational ed, grants, parapro support, another 16% for pupil support for counselors, school psych, speech, etc. And then we spend about 6% for school administration, about just over 1% for business services, about just under 5% for transportation. So the money really goes into the classroom. School districts, and this is not uncommon for school districts in Michigan and across the country, we are a people-based business. So if you look, we spend roughly 86 to 87% of our money is on salaries and benefits. So whenever you have to adjust the budget, it always hits the people that are doing the work. Because you can only squeeze so much out of utilities. You can only squeeze so much out of supplies. You can only squeeze so much out of maintenance services. So it is truly salaries and benefits, and this is not uncommon. So if you look, and I just, again, wanted to share, in my learning, as a district, as a board, as a community, and as employees, have been tremendous stewards of taxpayer dollars. We spend more on average than the average in the state on the classroom. We spend $58.67 per student on the classroom, on actual classroom instruction. We spend less on administrative costs, significantly less, and we spend less on operations. So we have found ways to be efficient and get the money to the classrooms, and that should be commended. So to really overgeneralize what I've learned and then to unpack it, what I found in every conversation, so my wife, child, and I, we all moved here in September. Everyone we've met, every different group I've met with and worked with internally and externally, I've found one consistent pattern. This community is committed to learning. People buy houses in Dexter for the schools. The schools take great pride in serving our community. They are interrelated, and that's the way it should be. In an era of unbundling schools and schools of choice, we have maintained as one of the districts that really focuses on serving our community. We have incredible kids. You're going to get to hear from a few of them. They're phenomenal. We have incredible parents who had those incredible kids. We have incredible teachers, incredible administrators. It is the best administrative group I've ever worked with in any district I've ever been with. We have an incredible staff. Every employee cares about Dexter Community Schools, this community, and our kids. The board is fantastic. The community overall is fantastic. And everyone is truly committed to learning. And that's really hard to find. We don't get it, from what my experience has been. We live in a world very different from some of the districts not too far from us. We are not worried about how we're going to make payroll this month. We're not worried about what new ideas out there. We really are focusing on how we're going to teach kids and how we're going to help them be successful. So our vision of champion learning, develop, educate, and inspire, we are truly trying to reach this vision, and we're getting pretty close. So as an example of reaching this vision,